You are looking in live at Hudson High School, where tonight the Hudson Raiders step out of the Big Rivers Conference on their home floor and take on the Stillwater Ponies, their neighbor to the east across the St. Croix River over in Minnesota. The Stillwater Ponies coming into this game, one of the top teams in Class 4A in the state of Minnesota, coming in with a 10-2 record. They compete in the Suburban East Conference, where they sit atop the conference with a 7-0 record. There are only 2 losses on the year, coming to Wayzata and a very good Hopkins team earlier in the year. So going to bring in Brian Moose, and Hudson is really taking on a big challenge tonight, but I think in a lot of ways here, Hudson's been playing well lately, won several games in a row, got up to a 7-4 record. This is a very worthy opponent coming in here to Hudson High School tonight.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better word than to put them as is worthy. They have a 3-star recruit going to the University of Minnesota, Sarah Scalia. She can hit from anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see how players like Stoltzman and Jonas guard up against her. And then there's another player who's averaging 17, I believe.
It is, and that's Alexis Pratt. Just taking a quick peek at the Stillwater scoring, Sarah Scalia, the much-heralded U of M commit, averaging 23 points per game. Alexis Pratt behind her with 17, and then Lisa Carlin with 13. So Scalia by far the leading scorer, but there's some other players as well that can really light it up. Just checking out the Hudson stats. A very young team, this Hudson Raider team, coming in with a very solid 7-4 record, and has won a couple games in a row here. They last beat Rice Lake on the road 48-33 last Friday, and the week prior to that won 51-40 over Menominee. 2 games in the books since the Christmas break. Both Big Rivers Conference opponents won them both before losing to Wausau West back during the Christmas break on Friday, December 28th. Statistically, the Hudson Raiders, a young team like we said. Sophia Jones coming in averaging 13 points per game. Lauren Stoltzman 13. Audrey Hatfield 10. Melanie Carley with 6. And Livy Boyley with 4. A very young team. The top 3 scorers, Stoltzman, Hatfield, Jones, all underclassmen. 2 sophomores, and with Stoltzman being a junior. So I think tonight the key is, number one, to figure out some way, somehow to shut down Scalia and not to fall in a big hole early. And because the potential is there that Stillwater, this is a team that can really bury opponents. And just taking a peek back at what Stillwater has done the last couple games prior to this one, let's go back 3 games just to give you an idea of their prowess. They beat Eastridge 75-26. So that's 49-point win there. Followed that up with a win 76-48 at White Bear Lake. So that's 28 according to my math. Mm-hmm. And then an 83-43 win versus Moundsview, a 40-point win coming into this game. So their last 3 games they have won by a significant margin. I think the Hudson Raiders, going to have to play well tonight really to compete with the Stillwater team. And just maybe if things fall right and catch a few breaks and our shooting gets hot, maybe the Raiders can pull the upset tonight.
Yeah, and Hudson is more known for forcing turnovers and playing better defense. And with the Stillwater team averaging about 72 points per game, that's going to be really difficult to do, especially when it isn't just Scalia scoring. It lurks through everyone else, because Scalia is the first in assists per game, too, for this Stillwater squad. So it's a team effort.
We're going to step aside here and catch the national anthem. Coming up, the Hudson Raiders take on the Stillwater Ponies in girls high school basketball from Hudson Gymnasium.
Oh, say
Well, I don't know if anybody has Clive Davis's phone number, but get that young lady a recording contract. That was a tremendous, tremendous job singing in that national anthem. And we're ready to get rolling here. Stillwater Ponies getting introduced. And Brian, you know, we come off a game last Friday, a boys game, against a Rice Lake team. We kind of have an opposite here. A boys team came in on this same floor some 5 days ago on Friday against a Rice Lake team that came in winless. And you kind of thought, okay, you know, Hudson should win this game easily. They find themselves down by 8 at halftime, turned it on late in the fourth quarter to pull out a 15-point win in a game that was much, much closer than that score. Now you have the complete opposite, whereas the Hudson Raiders, the home team, are clearly the underdog here tonight against the Stillwater Pony team coming in at 10-2, blowing people literally off the floor. You know, could it be the opposite of what we saw here? We're going to have to see. All right, the teams have been introduced. Sparse crowd here tonight. This game was originally scheduled to be played back in December. Talking to athletic director Stephanie DeVos prior to the game of why exactly this got rescheduled. She couldn't recall, but it did. And a very, you know, a non-conference game. If you want to take on a very quality program,
yeah,
they clearly got it here in the Stillwater Ponies.
Yeah, for sure. This Stillwater team, as you mentioned, has been blowing teams out, and this would be this could either be a huge upset for this young Hudson squad or a character-building game for this young Hudson squad. You get either side of the coin.
Audrey Hatfield going to jump. Hatfield coming in, the sophomore, seeing significant playing time, averaging 10 points per game. The Raiders' biggest player. She gets the tip. It's off to Lauren Stoltzman. We are underway. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday night for girls high school basketball here from Hudson Gymnasium. Hudson looking to get set here. Drops it back inside. Spin move in the paint. Drops it back out to Stoltzman. Off to Hatfield, top of the key. Looks to dribble into the paint. Dishes it off. Back out. Tough defense by Stillwater. We're going to have our opening foul of the game. Looks like it's going to be called on Allison Benning. And Sarah Scally is number 14. Keep an eye on her.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a spotlight on her the whole time for this Hudson defense. She can kill it out on the court.
Drops it into Hatfield, stolen away by Stillwater. And Hudson comes up empty in their opening possession of the game. First shot up and in. The three-pointer good, and the Ponies are off and rolling. Stoltzman bringing it down, kicks it out to Jonas. Sophia Jonas, the leading scorer of this Hudson team, only a sophomore, 5'6" guard. Top of the key, that's Carly. Drives into the paint, up and good.
Nice. Fantastic move inside, playing some ISO ball, taking it up herself, and Carly finishes.
One of the few seniors on the team, Melanie Carly. We got a 3-2 lead for the Stillwater Ponies. Bringing it up the floor, working it in.
There's Hatfield
to
showing
Benning.
her presence in the paint.
And Hatfield, very physical player and big, 6'2". And it'll be up to her tonight to control the rebounding on both ends of the court.
Yeah, for Hudson, not a lot's going to have to get past her tonight if they want to win.
Carly driving it in, kicks it all across court off to Jonas. Jonas is going to cork from three, no good. Rebound Stillwater, bringing it up, guarded by Stoltzman. And Jonas corking it from the three-point line. No good. Raiders with the rebound. That being Lewis. Off to Stoltzman. Into Hatfield, working it down underneath. No good.
Oh, got rejected by the bottom of the rim there. Took a bit too sharp of an angle.
Shot no good. Offensive board by the Ponies. Alexis Pratt, the number 2 scorer, puts it up no good. Offensive rebound again. This Hudson Raider team is going to have to battle on the boards. They are the smaller team. Hudson pushing it in transition, turns it over to Stillwater. Across half court, driving into the lane. Drops it back off to Scalia. And there she is, Sarah Scalia with her first bucket of the game. She is the real deal. The U of M commit drops the three, 6-2 Ponies. Ponies full court pressure, turnover by the Hudson Raiders. Stoltzman battling for the board underneath, coming off the miss, no good. And Hudson really at a disadvantage so far rebounding.
Yeah, and that's Scalia again. She went, right now she's 1 for 3 from past the three-point line, and she missed a easy layup, so she's a bit beside herself right now.
Coach Jessica Carney for the Hudson Raiders calling a timeout, trying to get her players really centered here. And you can see early on that this Stillwater team has multiple weapons, comes at you with pressure defense, forces turnovers, is not afraid to chuck it up behind the three.
Yeah, this is very similar to a West Virginia team. They play really good college basketball. Bob Huggins coaches up there.
Yeah.
They run a big press, and when you see the blue and yellow on the court, they flash right by you. And right now it's red and black, running circles around the navy and white.
And I think Hudson, the key is composure.
Yeah.
Not to fall in a big hole. Somehow, even though they're the smaller team, going to have to find a way to bang on the board. You can't give this Stillwater team 2 and 3 chances per offensive possession.
Yeah, and I think most of that's going to come from the bench, especially if they are wanting to rebound at all positions, especially with people like Grace O'Brien coming off the bench, a scrappy 1 or 2 guard.
Hudson getting it in off the timeout, across the half court. Jonas, guarded, drops it back off to Carly. Stoltzman trying to free herself on the far right. Carly off to Stoltzman. Lauren Stoltzman can move.
Yeah, she can. She's a good playmaker and ball handler that can free herself up or her teammates up for shots.
Off to Jonas. Off to Annika Lewis, trying to drive on the baseline. Was close to stepping out of bounds, but was irrelevant as she traveled. Turnover goes back to the Ponies. Ponies bring it across half court. Drops it back off to Carlin. Corks it up from behind the arc, no good, and the ball goes out. Hudson catches a break there.
Yeah, Hudson can't be giving up shots like that, especially in the zone that they are running. They can't let open three-pointers. That's one of the main reasons why the zone is run, to prevent shots like that.
Jonas trying to bring it up. Stillwater employing a full-court press. Jonas wire to wire, blocked. Turns it over. Stillwater's pushing it in transition to Scalia.
Nice pass by Scalia inside to her teammate, though. And Hatfield gets her hand up there and just doesn't let it in. Stolen away by Hudson. That's going to go off a Pony. Hudson's going to inbound under their own basket. Stillwater subbing in a couple players. You can see Scalia there looking to kind of double on Hatfield, trying to get it into Audrey. There she is, coming off the inbound into underneath. And that's not a bad strategy for Stillwater to do. Hatfield is one of the main pieces of this Hudson team, and she's a force in the post.
Carly looking to drive in. No good. Foul called. That's the second foul on the Ponies here. Early on, 14:06 to go. That foul is on Brugers, the 5'11" senior. So 2 fouls for the Ponies so far. Stoltzman's going to throw it in, looking for Hatfield. Gets it out to Hatfield, guarded. On the far left, looks to dribble, gives up the dribble, drops it back off to Carly. Carly cross-court pass to Boyley. Shot up, no good. Rebound Raiders.
Carly decides to take it out there and reset the possession. Interesting decision there, slowing down the offense.
Carly.
Oh, nice move inside, and Hatfield, another open layup, can't get it in.
Stillwater collapsed on her, and after a nice low block entry pass, was not able to...
Oh, and that's wide open for Bruger. Yeah. Nothing but nylon right there.
9-2 Stillwater. Third three-pointer early on here in this first half. Stoltzman struggling to get it across half court. Stillwater employing a press.
Ooh.
Looks like they're going to get Stoltzman on the foul after she was pickpocketed. And the Ponies aggressively throwing a full-court press at the Raiders.
Yeah, and one of the things that that I'm sure the coach noticed and something that I noticed is that the rest of the Hudson team left Stoltzman on an island there with the other 2 Stillwater defenders. Can't have that happen, especially against a full-court press like that.
Ponies get it in. top of the key, drops it back off to Carlin. Shot rattles in.
Textbook ball movement there. Couldn't have done it much better.
The Stillwater Ponies with an early 11-2 lead. They get it across half court, beating the Pony press. Back off to Stoltzman, top of the key. Dribbles off to the right.
Yeah, nice job there from Hudson. A bit of a risky lob pass, but they were able to get it over the center and break the press.
Back over there to Lewis. Lewis into Hatfield. Cross-court pass, ill-advised pass, picked off by the Ponies, wire to wire, up and in. And the Stillwater Ponies with their first double-digit lead now, 13-2.
And who else would it be but Scalia? She has just been all over on both sides of the ball.
Now you can see why this Stillwater team is coming into this game 10-2 and one of the most highly regarded 4A girls programs in the state of Minnesota. Almost forced another turnover there into Boyley. Boyley driving it in, and a badly needed bucket by the Raiders brings it to 13-4. 12-10 to go here in half number one. Scalia bringing it up, chucking it from the cheap seats. No good, but no rebounding for the Raiders underneath. Cleans up the offensive glass and puts it right back in, 15-4.
Yeah, that's a really poor job of defensive rebounding by the Raiders, letting Stillwater just walk in freely like that. As Stoltzman corks one, can't make it. That one will be Stillwater ball as that one, or as the refs signal it to be so.
The Raiders looking to get into some kind of consistent offensive rhythm, and I think the defensive pressure by the Ponies thus far is really preventing that, forcing turnovers multiple times, and then really pushing it in transition, opening up this 11-point lead.
Yeah, it's been a rough 6 minutes for Hudson, and that's kind of an understatement. They have been sloppy on both sides.
Still plenty of basketball to go. Glad you joined us here. Hudson High School Gymnasium's the place. Non-conference game against the Stillwater Ponies. Shot up and in. That one was Carlin again, 17-4.
There was a hole open in that zone, and like what a quarterback does against NFL defenses, just finding the open areas and picking it apart. Stillwater was able to do that.
Stoltzman dishes it off. Shot no good. Rebound Ponies.
Oh, nice pass. Feet
Pushing
inside.
Pushing it in transition. They are wasting no time coming off that defensive rebound or a turnover, and they are opening up a huge lead now, 19-4. Raiders trying to stem the tide. Holtzman driving in underneath, dishes it off. They're going to call her on a travel.
Yeah, she couldn't handle the ball correctly. Stoltzman set her up with a good opportunity. It just got a little gun shy.
This Hudson Raider team coming in 7-4, having won their last two games, but have ran into a buzzsaw here so far tonight.
Yeah, and this is a good Hudson Raider team, and I know Stillwater has been able to just destroy good programs throughout the season, but it's been kind of rough to watch a program as solid as this to just go down like that. Escalia pulls up from the free throw line, bricks it off the back iron. Our PA announcer, Ted LaRoe, informed us that she can make those. She's got that kind of range, so that'll be something to watch for tonight. Turnover
off to the Raiders, trying to get it in. Stillwater has been throwing a full court press at them right from the get-go. Backing off a little bit. Hudson bringing across half court.
Yeah, they're giving Hudson some time to breathe. They've been suffocating them the whole first few minutes of this ball game.
Jonas, their top of the key, being pressured, drives into the lane, tries to dish it off, goes off a pony, going to be Hudson ball. A little bit of an isolation there. Sophia Jonas, the 5'6" sophomore, the leading scorer for the Raiders coming in, 13 points per game. And Annika Lewis inbounding off to Stoltzman, off on the left. Been working that right, trying to generate something here. 19-4, Stillwater with the big early lead.
Yeah, need a bucket in a big way here, and Stoltzman would be
driving in.
The player to do that as she sinks the floater.
Lauren Stoltzman up and in, 19-6. The Raiders cut the lead to 13. Oh. Just like that, Scalia, my goodness.
Even the Raider faithful had to take a minute there.
Committed to the U of M.
I'm sure Waylon appreciates that.
Turnover by the Raiders. 9:49 to go, 22-6.
Yeah, she oozes confidence from out there. She bricked the first time, and she did not back down from that opportunity.
Good ball handling, seals of Scalia bringing it up past half court. Drops it in, top of the key, shot up and in. That one to Carlin. Carlin's had a tremendous first half. The Ponies looking to pressure.
Yeah, they're quadrupling Hudson's point total right now, and that certainly won't help with an over and back call bouncing off Jonas's knee.
The Raiders really having a hard time. Multiple turnovers here, really pressured by this Stillwater Pony defense. And whether it's balls going out of bounds or traveling or stepping on the line, it's been tough.
Yeah, this is very similar to the JV game that we saw earlier here today where the Stillwater just throttled Hudson, so they're looking to change the tide here. It'll be rough to do, though, against a really good Stillwater squad.
Raiders defensively trying to get some stops, picking up the defensive intensity here. Hatfield guarding the center. They work it in, kick it back out. Wow. No good. Offensive board by the Ponies, and that's going to be Carlin over there.
Open three-pointer there, just couldn't cash in on it, and it still leads to 2 free throws. So pretty good possession for Stillwater.
And Carlin comes in. 6'2", the 6'2 junior. Definitely Stillwater coming in, the more experienced team and the bigger team. First shot up, no good. The Hudson student section across the way, they're cheering on the Raiders, Raider faithful. The bench warmer, or excuse me, the bleacher creatures. We know them from the football days. Shot up, no good, but rebound down to Stillwater. Scalia drops back, kicks the three, no good. Rebound by Hatfield. They needed that. Defensive board by the Raiders looking to push up. Stillwater pressuring. Off to Jonas. Jonas back to.
Good methodical passing there, breaking that press, and that leads to an open shot from Carly, though. She can't even hit rim.
No good. Really having a hard time against this Pony press. Driving it wire to wire in, right past Hatfield. 26-6, the Stillwater Ponies open up a lead.
Pony Express right down Main Street there.
It was the Pony Express, 26-6, 8.5 to go here in half number one. And the Raiders have a mountain to climb to get back into it. Plenty of basketball here to go. Yet another turnover coming off that press. Going to have a tie-up, and the Ponies will have the possession.
Sloppy hands is not going to help their cause. As Boyley will check out and O'Brien will check in.
Scalia going to bring it up.
And they are going to have 3 people at the top of the key there to try and contain Scalia.
3-2 defense. Some changes, defensive changes, trying to do something different by Coach Jessica Carney. A rare turnover by the Ponies, going to give the ball back to the Raiders.
I don't know what Carney can say to this team that can help them right now. They are in quite a hole.
Well, you know, you go out of conference to take on tough competition and have a learning experience.
Especially for a young team like this, it's nice, and I don't want to say it's over right away. There's still a chance, but if it continues, there's the writing on the wall.
Stoltzman looking to drive in, kicking it back half court, back off to Jonas, into Hatfield, doubled in the paint. Nice move by Audrey Hatfield.
Nice. And that's what she's been billed to do all season. She is a post anchor.
26-8, and Hatfield averaging 10 points per game. Getting some offense going for the Raiders underneath. Stillwater drops the top of the key, kicks it back out to the right. Driving on the lane. We're going to get a traveling call. And a turnover, back-to-back turnovers by the Ponies, opening up a small window of opportunity for the Raiders here. And Stillwater, you can see 3 defenders on Hudson's side of the court. Back off to Jonas. Jonas looking to get it into Hatfield. She's going to pull up top of the key. No good. Rebound Stillwater. They're going to move. Boy, they are not a slow-down team. They just come right at you. Drops it back off top of the key. Off to Carlin. Carlin looking to drive. The big 6'2", kicks it back out. 3-point shot, no good. Air ball. Jonas looking to push. She's going to slow it back up. Thought she was going to go to Stoltzman. Kicks it cross court to Grace O'Brien. Shot up, no good. Rebound Stillwater.
And Hudson has to keep continuing looking for those type of shots. Wide open mid-range Jays as Stillwater can't make good on their own.
Alexis Pratt, no good. And now it's the Raiders got some numbers. Kicks it back out off to Stoltzman behind the arc. Shot no good. Had a nice look. It's going to be Stillwater Pony ball coming off that miss. Both players converged on it. (26-8), 6:35 to go here. The Stillwater Ponies, good as advertised thus far. Coming in, Alexis Pratt brings it across court, guarded top of the key. They've been working the right side. And the shot is up and in, and that is Delaney Wagner, the 5'10 junior. And bang, just like that, 29-8, the lead is back to 21.
Stillwater has found multiple wide open corner shots, and Hudson has been leaving that wide open for the taking.
Another turnover. Coming off the block.
Oh.
Stoltzman in defense. It's going to be kicked out. Remains Pony ball underneath the bucket. Scalia bringing it in. Drops it back off to Wagner. Wagner off to Pratt. Pratt's going to crank it from three, and Alexis Pratt, the sophomore, second leading scorer for this Stillwater Pony team, brings it in off to Hatfield. They break the press. Stillwater retreats back on defense, trying to work it into Hatfield again. They're trying to get a post presence there, and she's being doubled in the paint.
Yeah, she was able to do it a little bit earlier, and Stillwater was able to catch on quickly. And now they're not even letting it get in towards her.
Annika Lewis inbounding the ball, dropping it back off to Carly. Nice spin move there. No good. Rebound Ponies. They're going to come across court.
There's Scalia.
And Scalia chucks it from the cheap seats. Good solid board by the Raiders, looking to push. Both of these teams pushing it in transition, coming off defensive rebounds. The Ponies doubling the ball, very quick on defense. And Hatfield, top of the key. She's going to be doubled. She's going to have a 5-second, gets it back off to Stoltzman. With about half a second left, closely guarded. Stoltzman trying to work her magic, driving into the lane. Shot up, no good. Rebound, Hatfield. Audrey Hatfield gets the offensive board up and in, going to the free throw line. The 6'2 sophomore.
She is tough to stop on the boards, and no matter how much you double team her or try and throw at her, she's eventually going to get the ball in her hands, and she can score with the rock on second chance opportunities.
Hatfield going to the line, 32-10, 5:10 to go here. Raiders trying to keep this one close as we creep towards halftime. Shot up and good, 32-11.
Good and one conversion there from Hatfield. Hudson really needed those 3 points, and they got them the old-fashioned way.
Stillwater looking to work it in. They have done an outstanding job really working the ball around the perimeter.
That's another open three.
Shot up by Carlin, no good. Offensive board by the Ponies. They'll reset. Scalia wide.
Nice dish inside. Ooh. Scalia puts it over two Hudson defenders. She can really put the ball on the floor and just make plays.
Sarah Scalia, good as advertised here in half number one. Hudson looking to work it back in. Double dribble.
Yep.
That's going to be a double dribble on Lewis. She was being pressured. And the Ponies get it back, slowing down a little bit, getting across half court as we dip under the 4.5-minute mark here in half number one. Top of the key looking to drive, up and in. That there, Scalia again. Holtzman off to Hatfield. Looking to get it across. That Stillwater press dribbling into a trap, trying to pass out of it off to Stoltzman.
And right to the coach of the Stillwater Ponies.
PA announcer Ted LaRoe down there. Annika Lewis inbounding it for the Raiders. Hatfield, top of the key, they're going to go back the other way. Off to Boyley. Boyley off to Stoltzman on the far right, kicks it into Hatfield in the high post. She's guarded, looks to pass out. Off to Carly.
Oh, nice move from Carly.
Carly dribbles in back to Hatfield, no good. Rebound Ponies, kicking it back out. Top of the key, up and good. And that's Carlin. She's had a tremendous first half, a very good compliment to Scalia, 38-11. Hatfield looking to drive and go post to post. No good. Nice look. Aggressively driving to the bucket, but shot would not fall.
Yeah, Hatfield really felt like she wanted to take it herself, and she almost made good on it.
Stillwater driving. No good. Hatfield with the board, kicking it back out. Off to Boyley. Boyley guarded. She's going to be double teamed, kicking it back. Hatfield, top of the key, stops the dribble, and she's going to get called for a travel.
You can't do the Statue of Liberty in basketball like that. You're going to get called for it every time.
Multiple travels and double dribbles, and that's really been forced by the pressure, by the very fast pressure defense by the Stillwater Ponies here. 38-11.
Yeah, it's tenacious defense. When one white jersey has the ball, you see two red jerseys around it. Hudson hasn't been able to compete with it.
Scalia bringing it up, working it off to the right, looking to drive the baseline. Stoltzman on defense, kicks it back out, back to the top of the key on the left. Driving into the lane, that's going to be Carlin again.
Carlin's done really well at putting the ball on the floor, too, along with her teammate Scalia. She's been able to get some inside buckets.
And Carlin coming in, a big 6'2" junior. Hudson looking to work at top of the key. They're going to need some threes. They're going to have to start lighting it up. Offensive board by Lewis. She hits the deck. Waiting for the call here. It is going to remain Hudson ball under the basket.
Yeah, fantastic hustle play by Annika Lewis there.
Raiders looking to get it in. Drops it in to Boyley. Tries to drive in, no good. Rebound, Ponies. They're pushing it in transition. Wide open would be Wagner. Coming off that pass, 42-11. Stoltzman looking to get it across court. The Raiders trying to stem the tide here. Ponies pressuring into the trap. She tries to pass out of it, wide open underneath. Shot up, no good. Rebound, Ponies. Had a good look and passed out of it. Unfortunately, the shot did not go. Stillwater looking to increase their lead. Scalia off to the right.
Yeah, Scalia was open. She decided to pass it out to one of her teammates who had a better look at it, though.
Her top of the key, high post pick. Scalia is going to chuck it from three, and it's good, 45-11.
How do you stop that?
Yeah, that's tough. That was from NBA range. Raiders going to have to figure out some things here at halftime. They have find themselves running into a buzzsaw, 45-11. The Stillwater Ponies off to Stoltzman. From behind the arc, no good. Rebound, Ponies. Scalia looking to push, dishes it off to Pratt, who was following her on the right, up and in.
Pratt has been all over the offensive end. She's been a consistent scorer and a great number 2 option. And once Scalia leaves for the U of M, Stillwater's in pretty good hands with Pratt at the helm.
Pratt only a sophomore, not very big. They list her at 5'5", and that might be generous. Minute 11 to go, 47-11. Stillwater doing some subbing here in the last minute and change as we head into halftime here. And you got to be pretty happy for the Ponies. Sitting on a 36-point lead, holding the Raiders to only 11 points thus far here in half number 1. Scalia bringing it up, looking to drive into the paint. To Raider defense, good board by O'Brien, who's checked in. That being Grace O'Brien, the 5'5" sophomore. Drops it back off to Carly. Top of the key, that's going to be Jonas. Sophia Jonas, the leading scorer for the Raiders, chucks it up from 3.
Rough-looking shot there.
And they're just trying anything at this point.
I mean, you can't really do anything else.
They're going to have to figure things out here at halftime. They have yet to play a team thus far this season.
Oh, right into the waiting arms of Jonas. She puts that one up. And
shot no good. Rebound by Stillwater.
Yeah, falls high off of the rim. Hudson trying to salvage
turns it over. Gets the turnover, I should say.
Yeah, Hudson's trying to salvage something in the last 35 seconds left to go in this game. They're playing way more aggressive.
Jonas going to the line here. 35 seconds to go. Sophia Jonas with the clock stopped, trying to get the Raiders
Rough.
cutting into this huge deficit they find themselves in here in the first half. First shot, no good. You can see obviously dejected Jonas. Second shot forthcoming. Up and good.
Makes good on the second one. That's something.
Scalia looking to get it across here.
I think Stillwater's looking to put 50 up here in the first.
And we'll have to see. Scalia looking to drive the baseline, kicks it back out. Going to be a turnover. 47-12. Hudson catches a break there. Several of the reserve players in for the last 21 seconds for the Raiders. Jonas brings it across half court. Stillwater has relaxed back the full court press that they've had for the lion's share of half number one. Jonas doubled in the corner.
They haven't really felt the need to force the issue anymore.
Backs off to Lewis. Lewis to Carley. Turnover. Stillwater Ponies looking to push. 2 seconds left. Shot up, and is that going to be counted?
Yep. At least I think so. Yep, 49-12.
It is. That shot went off with about half a second to go. Pushing it in transition. They had to think about it for a while, but it is good. 49-12. The Stillwater Ponies with an outstanding first half. Possibly headed for the century mark at this rate. We'll have to see, but boy, the Hudson Raiders, and we knew coming in that this is a Stillwater team coming in 10-2 on the season, winning their last game or their last 3 games, going down the line here, 83-43, 76-48, and 75-26. So this team didn't come out of nowhere. They knew they were very solid coming in, but they are as good as advertised.
Yeah, you would at least hope, though, for a little bit more of a fight. And I know that they've been playing hard, but it just hasn't translated, to the scoreboard. And Stillwater has been able to play extremely well and not let Hudson even reach 15 at the end of the first. And they're on pace to hit 98 in the game, which I'm sure probably won't happen. I'm guessing they'll lay off. But it's been a rough 18 minutes for Hudson, and I don't know what Kearney says to get this team motivated to play another half.
Well, it's a very young team, and one of the things you learn as you grow as a team is, taking on a very good on your home floor, taking on a very good team, stepping outside of conference, looking for top-notch to play top-notch competition, which Stillwater clearly is, and you take it as a learning experience, and they're doing some learning in that locker room right now, and we'll have to see what the second half brings. Just taking a quick peek at the schedule here. This game originally scheduled back in December was a makeup game. Now tomorrow night, Stillwater returns home getting back into Suburban East Conference play, taking on the Cretin-Durham Hall Raiders, and then they travel to Moorhead. That's a long drive, going back outside of non-conference and then returning back home the following week, taking on Forest Lake for the Hudson Raiders. They're going to have to shake off this one, try to make a game of it here in the second half. They will be back home here on Friday, taking on Eau Claire Memorial, a team that they lost to early in the season, back on the 27th of November at Eau Claire Memorial, 47-41. And Memorial coming in, having some struggles here lately. We got some shooters here on the floor. We're going to tally some things up. We're going to step aside here. It is halftime, and it is all Stillwater so far. 49-12. The Stillwater Ponies defeating, so far, the Hudson Raiders. We got a half to go here. Stick with us. We'll bring you the second half here in just a moment. Back here at halftime, it is all Stillwater. The Ponies sitting on a 49-12 lead over the Hudson Raiders. The Ponies coming in 10-2 on the season, and we can see why.
Yeah, that is quite an understatement considering how well Stillwater has been playing so far tonight. They've been firing on all cylinders. It doesn't matter if it's defensive side of the ball or offensive side of the ball. They're setting up good opportunities for themselves. They're swarming the ball. They are playing through their star player. But not just that. Scalia is able to bring it through and, bring the ball up the floor, put it on the floor, set up plays for her other teammates. And Stillwater's just a complete team. And Hudson, I'm sure they knew that they were good, but they sure haven't looked ready for the challenge. But this is a young team. We've mentioned it before. this has been a rough game and not anywhere close to sweet, as the song would indicate.
That being Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond,
yeah.
which has really become a staple in a lot of events. And the interesting thing is, and I follow a lot of music and older music. Sweet Caroline, I believe, came out in '67 or '68. So that's an old song, and it's still gets a lot of playing.
Well, it's still able to soften the blow of these kind of games,
Sure.
and the student section gets into it. So looking forward to a good second half of basketball, potentially. Hopefully Hudson can score the ball a little bit more, be able to play better, and we'll see. I'm guessing we'll probably see more of a display from Scalia, maybe not as high-powered as it was in the first half, but we'll probably see a little bit more of her.
I'm guessing the Stillwater Ponies, this margin is retained, for most of the second half. They're probably going to see a lot of reserves come in and whatnot, and it really is where sportsmanship comes into play. We'll have to see. I think for the Raiders, you really got to come out of the halftime just smoking, knock back some threes, be able somehow to handle Stillwater's pressure. They had a lot of turnover problems in that first half, and credit Hudson's or Stillwater's pressure for causing those turnovers. And Hudson has not run into a powerhouse like Stillwater thus far, but they definitely are tonight.
I have some quick news about men's college basketball, if anyone who's watching follows it. Number 1 ranked Duke is in a close game with Syracuse. Zion Williamson, he came back from a poked eyeball against Florida State. He has 30 points and 10 rebounds, and Duke only leads by 1, 80-79 as we speak, over Jim Boeheim's Syracuse Orange.
Second half underway. Stillwater Ponies sitting on that 49-12 lead. They're retained possession. Scalia chucking it up behind the arc. No good. Rebound to the Raiders. That's going to be Jonas. Jonas looking to get it across. Just barely get it across the half-court line. 10 seconds. Jonas guarded by Pratt. Far out.
Yeah, Stillwater's not even letting them reach the blue lines of the perimeter right now.
Playing catch back and forth.
Yeah, Pratt and Scalia are way up top.
With Melanie Carley. Back out to Jonas. Looking to set up something underneath. They went into Hatfield multiple times.
Oof.
With Carley looking to drive the baseline.
Carley takes a bit of a hit there, but refs will award Stillwater the possession.
Turns it over to the Ponies. Back into Pratt. Looking to bring it up court. Alexis Pratt, number 0. You don't see that very often. But tremendous player. Excellent first half. Off to Coate. Top of the key. Off to Pratt. She's going to chuck it from behind the arc. No good. Offensive board back to the Ponies. They'll reset.
Scalia.
And Scalia from the cheap seats. No good. They seem to have gone a little bit cold, much to the delight of the Raiders. And Stoltzman looking to answer. No good. Rebound to the Ponies. They're going to push. Trying to get it off to Pratt. They had a bit of a scrum there. No good. Hatfield with the board. Both teams cold here in the first minute and a half of half number 2. Coming off Jonas on the far left. Guarded by Pratt. She'll reset. Stoltzman off to the left. Stillwater back into a 2-3 defense. Off to Stoltzman. He's going to try to free up into the floater in the paint. Rattles around and good.
Stoltzman is very reliable inside there. She can just float it up over taller defenders or bigger defenders than herself.
Scalia looking to get it across. We're going to call a timeout.
And you mentioned Pratt being number 0. She reminds me of an NBA player who wears number 0, Damian Lillard, someone who is kind of overmatched in the height department, but he isn't afraid of anyone, and neither has Pratt been so far tonight. Well,
Pratt, she's listed at 5'5", and that might be a little generous, but can really shoot, really move the ball around. Tremendous defense. I mean, coming in, this is a Stillwater team that averages 72 points per game. To put that into perspective, Hudson, who has a very solid record of 7-4, averages 53, so almost 20 points more per game thus far. We're about not quite halfway through the season here, but quite a few games are in the books, and the stats starting to have some relevance now. And whereas earlier in the year they really don't. But
especially with Stillwater being in Minnesota, as a state is very good at basketball and hockey. So them to be able to have a 10-2 record and average points per game average like that. That's very impressive for this Pony squad.
Hudson just looking to really stem the tide here and make a game of it on their home floor. Stillwater comes out of the timeout, off to Pratt, gets it across the timeline, drops it back off to Wagner. From behind the arc, up and good, and that's Carlin, and I am very impressed by Eliza Carlin, the 6'2 junior.
Yes.
This is not a one-trick pony, no pun intended. With Scalia, she has multiple. The supporting cast is very solid.
Yeah, for sure. And Carlson is a great stretch post player that Stillwater has. She has been consistent throughout all the levels of the floor and a true volume shooter for the Stillwater squad.
Top of the key. Drops it back off to Jonas, trying to work the right into Hatfield. She's going to take a spin move in the paint, no good. Rebound Ponies. And they have numbers. They're going to slow it down here. Scalia driving into the paint, dishes it off underneath, up and in. Assist to Scalia, bucket to Wagner.
Yeah,
and it's 54-14.
She caught Hudson with some happy feet being anxious about her shooting a perimeter shot, and she drove inside and just set up a teammate beautifully.
Back off to Stoltzman, looking to get it into Hatfield. Working it in, blocked.
Oh, Hatfield
gets it back. She's going to go up.
She had Carly open in the corner, but she got some tunnel vision and tried to tough it out herself, and turns into a free throw opportunity for her.
And Hatfield going to the line, 54-14. And we talked about this at halftime. It is running time. So based on that, I think the margin needs to be 40 points or greater for the running time. We thought it might be 50. It, in fact, is 40. Shot up and good for Hatfield. Stillwater with mass substitutions. They're going to pull all 5 out, bring 5 in.
Smart idea. Stillwater probably has bigger fish to fry for the rest of the schedule, and they'll bring in some players who don't get a lot of experience.
Hatfield, and that's something you don't see a lot of with normally you go to the free throw line, the clock is stopped. It is not. Audrey Hatfield up and good. 2 nice looking free throws.
Cuts it down to a mere 38-point lead
for the sophomore. Stillwater looking to work it around. The reserves coming in as we anticipated they would. We hit the 13.5-minute mark. Drops it back inside to Fultz. Up and good.
Nice move there from Fultz, powering it up over her defender, not being afraid of getting blocked.
Jonas off to Stoltzman. Stoltzman back to Jonas on the far right. Playing catch with Lauren Stoltzman, trying to work it into Hatfield. Nice move in the footwork as she was double teamed underneath.
Snuck right through 2 defenders right in there in the post.
Puts it up 56-18. Hudson getting a little offense going here in half number 1. Ooh. Almost gets away with the travel there. Shot up, no good. Hatfield had the rebound, gets it back.
Lewis
Stillwater turns it over, off to Stoltzman. Hudson almost turns it over. Out to Jonas. Jonas to Stoltzman behind the arc, no good. Rebound to Stillwater. They're going to push it wire to wire. Blocked by Jonas. I think they're going to get Jonas with a foul.
Yeah, they're going to contest that she swiped the arm before she went up with the shot.
First foul on Sophia Jonas. The first foul on the Hudson Raiders here in half number 2. The Ponies also only have 1. And the clock continuing to go. Ponies top of the key here. Looking to work it, works it around the perimeter. Inside, back outside. Hudson gets the rebound. Jonas up to Stoltzman, streaking down, up and in. Lauren Stoltzman coming off the assist from Sophia Jones. 56-20. The Raiders, nice looking bucket there. Stillwater, cross-court pass, drops it back out.
Threading the needle right there.
Top of the key. Off to the left. Stillwater emptying the bench there. Shoot. Turnover. Jonas looking to drive up the baseline. Doesn't have an angle. Shot no good. She's going to go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And that foul will be on Brugers. Her second. the second team foul for the Ponies here in half number 2. And Sophia Jonas coming in, the leading scorer for the Hudson Raiders with 13 points per game.
Yeah, so far it's been a clean game for both sides, neither team reaching the bonus in the first half, but now some quick fouls with the running clock, making it accelerated, so 3 fouls in a quick amount of time of play as Johnson checks in for Hatfield.
Jonas, first shot no good. Second shot forthcoming, 56-20. Raiders looking to try to make a game of it. Second shot up and good for Jonas. Stillwater bringing it across. The Hudson Raiders we have seen in the past use a full court press. They did not this game. Over and back, coming off a nice defensive maneuver out there by Jonas.
Yeah, I'm guessing they were worried that they were going to give up too many easy 2-pointers, and now they're finally full court pressing when it's probably too late.
Sophomore Grace Johnson coming in. Stoltzman looking there, trying to work the right. Drops it back off to Boyley. Thinks about driving the baseline. Drops off, back off, driving in. She took it to the bucket. No good, but she's going to go to the free throw line. That foul is going to be on Benning. Another 6-1. You look at the Stillwater roster, and it's a big team. For girls, 5'9", 5'8", 6'1", 5'10", 6'1", 6'1", 6'2", 6'1". I mean, that's a big girls basketball team. First shot up and good.
Yeah, even at their 2-guard spot or their wings, they have pretty significant height advantage besides that post where they pretty much just match up with Hatfield, as most teams that Hudson has played haven't been able to.
Second shot up and good.
It is no longer a 5-touchdown lead for the Ponies.
56-23, 10.5 to go. Stillwater bringing it across half court.
Oh.
Whipping it around. Good ball movement by the Ponies. Shot goes 2/3 of the way down, comes back out. Offensive board by Stillwater, and Benning up and in. 58-23.
That's the second time now this half that we've seen Stillwater just zip it right through Hudson defenders trying to press them.
Stoltzman. O'Brien off to Johnson. Back to O'Brien. Thinks about driving the baseline, trying to sneak it in there. The little John O'Brien in with the trees, only 5'5", maneuvers her way down the baseline, up and in. Stillwater gets it across half court. Almost a travel there. Off to Fultz. Up and in. And Stillwater still maintaining that significant lead, although the Raiders have cut into it some here in the second half, with the Ponies pulling most of their starters here early on. Off to Grace O'Brien. O'Brien to Stoltzman. Not sure what happened there. Kind of a errant pass.
Yeah, kind of tossed it towards the blue paint there.
Into Johnson, who tries to hit O'Brien on a cutter. No good. Turns it over. Stillwater bringing it across. 9 minutes and change here in half number 2. The Stillwater Ponies with a commanding lead. Shot no good. Rebound to Hudson. Trying to work it in. Off to Johnson. Johnson, errant pass, turnover. Both teams really stretching the court.
Yeah, predetermined pass there from Johnson gets picked off by the Ponies.
Offensive board up and good.
Really easy read there to set up that offense.
Up and good by Benning. And Benning's another one. That's 6'1". Dropped off to Boyley, no good. Shot no good. Off O'Brien, battling for the rebound. We're going to have, I believe, a possession.
Yeah, jump ball goes to the Raiders there.
Raiders will retain possession. The possession arrow favors them. Hudson will have the ball underneath their own bucket. Stillwater continuing to substitute liberally here in the second half, as we figured they would.
Yeah, trying to get some experience for players who don't play that much.
Off to Annika Lewis. Lewis to O'Brien. O'Brien looking to work. Passes it. Stolen away by the Ponies. Thought they were going to get Carly with the foul here. She tried to take it to the rack. No good. The Ponies are going to have the ball inbounded under their own bucket.
Is there another Scalia on this team? Amber
Amber Scalia, the 5'8" freshman, up and in. That being Brugers. Stillwater shooting the lights out here, particularly in the first half from behind the arc. Really established their dominance right from the get-go. 8 minutes and change, 66-25. Raiders looking to cut into this lead. Off to Johnson. Johnson double team, tries to dribble out of it. And that pesky defense by the Ponies. Hits the deck. Stoltzman following it up. And that's going to go off Lewis. She was pressured. Ball came out. Stillwater ball. 7:48 to go.
And we crossed the first 3 quarters of the game, and now we're heading towards the home stretch, and Stillwater seems to have secured this one.
Kicking it back out. Off to Benning. Benning up and in. 69-25. Stoltzman pushes it across off to O'Brien. Thinks about driving the baseline. Guarded. Undersized by about 5 inches on the defender. Drops it back out top of the key. Hudson resets. Off to Stoltzman on the left. Into Hatfield. Going to pull up from the free throw line. Up and good.
Silky smooth jumper there from the elbow.
Hatfield, who spent the lion's share underneath there, stepped out that time and drained one. Good looking shot. Under 7 minutes now to go. 69-27. Ponies looking into the cutter. Kicks it back out. It's going to be off of Carly. Stillwater ball. And we are in running time again. We were out of running time for a brief time, and now we're back into it.
Yeah, Stillwater has regained their 40-plus lead, so.
Brings it in, off to Wagner. Shot from the cheap seats, no good. Offensive board by Stillwater. That would be Fultz.
Nice box out there from Fultz, keeping everyone away from it. That sets up another Stillwater possession as Allison Michaels will check in, the captain coming off the bench.
Michaels, the senior. I believe that's her first action tonight.
Yeah, it's been a while since she's played.
Stillwater inbounding it. Going to go all the way out. Looking to go in. I don't know if a foul was called there. It was, looking up to see who it was on. I didn't hear a whistle.
Yeah, just a lot of commotion and then play stopped.
Again, the clock continuing to run. 69-27. That foul is going to be on Grace O'Brien. Her first. Hudson's second. First shot up, no good. Getting ready here. Most of the Hudson faithful have stayed.
Which that is really nice to see.
Second shot up and good, and the Stillwater Ponies have hit the 70 mark, 70-27. 5:17 to go. Stoltzman bringing it across half court. Pickpocketed all the way to the rack and in. And this Pony defense is solid. And that was Amber Scalia, the younger sister of Sarah Scalia, the freshman, seeing some action here. We're going to have a possession. Tie-up possession goes to Hudson.
Boyle will check in quickly. They'll sit the senior Lewis.
And O'Brien's going to inbound. Boyley's coming in. Off on the far right. Kicking it back out. Stoltzman off to the right. They're going to trying to work to left. Stoltzman comes up top of the key. Thinks about it. Looking to drive in. Past a double team. Shot is blocked. Turned over. Stillwater ball. Getting it across half court. Drops it back off to Benning. Shot up, no good. Rebound for the Raiders. O'Brien looking to push. Wire to wire. Goes up, shot no good.
So now that we see the score is 2 and 7 flipped for each side, you have to think about how Hudson is going to carry themselves after this type of loss.
And Benning with the foul. Her third, that being Allison Benning, the sophomore for the Ponies. O'Brien going to the free throw line. First shot up, no good. You are correct. The score is flipped, 72-27. Really a commanding lead for the Ponies right from the get-go. Raiders have tried to make a little more of a game of it here in half number 2. O'Brien with the second shot, no good. Board by Stillwater by Fultz, brings it up, coming off the miss. Cross half court, drops it back off to Benning. Looking to drive in. Off to the far right to Holder, no good. Rebound Hudson, off to Stoltzman. Stoltzman has remained in for the Lions' share of this second half. No good, rebound for the Ponies. They're going to dribble it up here. Cross half court, Hudson sags back on defense. Pulls up, no good. Rebound Stoltzman. Slows up. Ponies pull off the full court press, which they have early on here in this second half. Looking to pass in, O'Brien. Pass too high, no good. Turnover. Pony ball. And Stillwater with mass substitutions again. The clock started back up now. And Hudson's going to sub out. Stoltzman's coming out. Grace O'Brien checking back in. And the Ponies looking to bring it up. We've hit the 2-minute mark. The 2-minute warning is a football term, but we're up below 2 minutes. Off to Dizon. Shot no good. Boyley gets the rebound. Top of the key, guarded. Looks to drive into the paint. Ponies collapse. Shot no good. Rebound by Stillwater. Pushing it up on the far right. They're top of the key. Off to Dijon. Shot no good. Somehow, some way. Offensive board. Not sure how that got in there, but it did. And the lead now 74-27. The Raiders just trying to get this one over with. Boyley. Off to Juza, who's checked in. That being Emily Juza, the 5'8 junior. Underneath to O'Brien, shot up, no good. Foul called. That would be on Dijon. She is a sophomore coming in. She had the bucket earlier for Stillwater on their previous offensive possession. O'Brien going to the line. Pulls back. Up and good. Grace O'Brien. Seen quite a bit of action here in half number 2.
Yeah, Carney has been comfortable with her playing. Been a nice little spark plug for the Hudson Raiders here as the waning seconds will fade away.
O'Brien hits them both. 74-29, under 20 seconds to go. Stillwater just working it around the perimeter. Kicks it in, back out. I don't know if they're looking to shoot. Chuck from behind the arc, no good. Rebound Hudson. Might be their last offensive possession of the game. Off to Boyley. Boyley's going to drive it up and in. And with that, time expires. And the Stillwater Ponies come away with a very convincing 74-31 win over the Hudson Raiders.
Oof, that was a reckoning. I mean, it's a good character building game for Hudson. They came out playing well. It might not show considering that they only scored about 30 or so points, but they played well for what they did. They were a bit sloppy, but that was just because they were overmatched by a very talented Stillwater team. You're going to have to take those losses, and got to move on. This Hudson Raiders team, this girls team, they have a consistency of being really good historically, and this team doesn't bend from the mold or anything like that. They follow suit, and this is a good girls team that just fell to a really talented and special Ponies team.
Well, this is a Ponies team that has won their last 3 games prior to this one by an average of almost about 40 points. So It showed tonight. Scalia definitely is as good as advertised, and a supporting cast that's very, very solid. They set the tempo, dictated things right from the get-go, and really Hudson had no answer. You know, the seats barely got warm, and they were already down by 20. They didn't give up. They made a little better game of it in the second half and closed the gap a little bit as Stillwater substituted liberally and kind of backed off a little bit, and still with a significant 74-31 win. The Hudson Raiders return to action at home against Eau Claire Memorial. This Friday, we will have this game on HudsonBroadcast.com. The Eau Claire Memorial team that they lost to open up the Big Rivers Conference season on the road back on Tuesday, November 27th, trying to turn the tables on the Old Abes. Still right in the thick of things in the Big Rivers Conference race coming into this game. Of course, this being a non-conference game doesn't count towards the conference standings. The Chippewa Falls Cardinals sitting atop the conference at 6-2, Hudson 4-2, Menominee 4-2, and then it drops off with Memorial North and River Falls all at 2-4, and the Rice Lake Warriors bringing up the basement at 1-5. So tonight's convincing win by the Stillwater Ponies, and the Hudson Raiders will try to right the ship and return to action next Friday. They return to Big Rivers Conference play, taking on the Eau Claire Memorial Old Abes. For Brian Moles, my name is John Weck, and hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We will see you next Friday. Good night, everybody.